Every single time, Snake rallied around their jungler and collapsed to keep him alive and control the enemy jungle.
Yeah, and it was one of the first times we've actually seen this team really supporting SofM in his aggressive playstyle, really showing that Snake are getting used to having him on the roster. We'll see how things change here as Trundle is going to be banned away. OMG now with some targeting ban options if they'd like to. Rek'Sai is going to be the answer. Snake probably being forced into the Ryze Vladimir bans, potentially, as this one goes through, and Nidalee taken away from SofM. Makes a lot of sense.
He still has an abundance of champions in his back pocket. Of course, the Lee Sin actually shared between juejue and SofM.
Yeah, precisely.
As we're going to have maybe a champion that should not be played available.
Depends what OMG decides to ban away here, whether they want to get the Ryze or the Vladimir for the first pick. Seeing those level of powerful champions in the hands of players like Icon would be very scary. As nope, Vladimir going to be banned on the blue side. And Ryze is going to be taken away then from Snake. So Maokai is available with no Trundle to answer. And we know that xiyang does like to lock that one away when he can.
Yeah, and they also didn't ban the Thresh and the Jhin this time around from Snake, so that Maokai should be looked at. But it also may indicate that Snake on the flip side, as their red side first rotation, could deny that bottom lane from OMG. They might be a little bit concerned.
We'll see what they do decide to go with here. xiyang just cycling through some top lane options. So Maokai is what we're probably expecting here out of this team. As the tree is hovered once again and locked away. So, do they deny the bottom lane? That's the question.
Now, they could look towards a jungle option for SofM, given a bit of the focus in that direction. That, and you couple it with, I would say, potentially either the AD carry or support if you're looking to deny it, or you give Frandre his Trundle again. No, it's been banned. Okay, you give him something else.
Well, Lissandra does make a lot of sense here as SofM getting some stern words from the coach as he is hovering the Olaf. Braum is going to be taken here though, so Snake wanting to grab that mid laner one more time here for tank. Definitely in that comfortable position, and they lock away Braum and Lissandra. A bit of a Freljordian inclination here on the side of Snake, as it was Ashe, Braum and Lissandra taken away. As Jhin and Graves locked in here for juejue and S1mLz.
Yeah, so locking in that Jhin, something we said maybe they want to deny. Snake obviously not addressing it as a big enough issue, or Martin doesn't want to play it.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. They banned it in game number 1. They come into the second game and they say, you know what, you can have it. That's fine.
Also, looks like the Hecarim possibly to be picked up here for SofM. Clippity coughing around the jungle. We saw a permaban from Condi yesterday. As SofM is going to take Ignite Smite. What a monster.
We'll see if he keeps that. That is aggressive, to say the least. And I mean, Hecarim, very strong at the moment. One of the few junglers that can go the Cinder Hulk route and benefit a lot from Trinity Force as an item. You have a variable item build, depending on what you want to do as well. You can keep it at a Sheen or a Phage, and then go towards resistances. You can go straight towards resistances. It comes down to how far you're snowballing, and based off SofM's playstyle, he'll probably find a way to snowball.
Yes, most certainly will, but 5 is going to take away his coveted Thresh that did escape the ban list, as well as Azir being locked in here for Icon. This team comp looking very frightening out of OMG. The fact that Maokai unanswerable from a Subjugate or anything like that here from a Snake. Frandre now is going to lock away the Fiora, so wants to have that anti-tank potential.
Yeah, and it's definitely answerable now.
Yeah.
That's for certain. Frandre locking in that split-pushing menace, honestly, that is a Fiora. Has a lot of late-game prevalence as well and can potentially get into the backline. But an Azir Jhin composition means it's going to be very flank-reliant, something that Snake's team composition is pretty much entirely about.
Oh, yeah.
They've got the Hecarim for big flanks. He doesn't have Ignite. They've got Lissandra who can get in there as well. And Braum and Ashe are pretty self-sufficient.
We'll see whether Snake are going to be able to have a similar performance this time around, or whether OMG now with this new and improved team comp are going to be feeling more comfortable. Juejue had brilliant performances on the Graves against EDG. Icon there as well, now on that sort of massive late-game AoE damage dealer with the very consistent variety in this Azir, and it's the bottom lane. This is comfort if anything else, for S1mLz Jhin.
Well, these are the champions that were banned from them in game number 1.
Precisely.
It says a lot coming into this second game, but they've given them these champions. It could be dangerous for Snake.
Most certainly could, but coaches are going to shake hands. Let's get into game number 2 between Snake and OMG. Thank you very much, Frandre, and here we are on to Summoner's Rift for game number 2. OMG looking to try and answer Snake's incredibly dominant victory over game number 1.
Not going to be an easy thing to do, Atlas, that's for
yeah,
certain.
Definitely not.
Game number 1 momentum is definitely in the back pocket of Snake. SofM in particular would be feeling quite content with how things have started off for him.
As he clops away from this Graves. Hangs around the wall. Jiezou was waiting with the Braum. Once again, the triple Freljord coming out. Juejue heading back to base. We'll see what he does decide.
They were looking for a collapse. He ghosted. They really wanted to collapse on him, but he recalled in the bush. So what they did, SofM's trinket placement was in the bush behind where he was recalling. And so they assumed he was still in the bush. But because they traded damage, and that was very silly from SofM, he should have assumed that they were recalling.
That was very cute.
But it was a cute play. They did want that kill.
Well, you can see now it looks like OMG were trying to deny the Gromp from Snake. Not going to be able to here. SofM getting some help here from Frandre. As you can see, standard lanes once again are going to ensue, and you have to think that that probably benefits the Fiora player.
Yeah. And maybe the assumption here from Snake is actually a lane swap. That's why they started this red buff. Going straight towards that top lane. Frandre usually would expect to get the 3 creeps and run, but he's going to have a standard lane. He's going to be happy about this, as you said.
Could also be the fact that SofM might look to gank someone.
Yeah,
early
so
on with the red buff. What
what it would usually mean, Hecarim's like to get that level 3 mark, maybe recall and get boots, then gank. Depends on what he wants to do. And yeah, the early red is that aggressive sign, but you could also go towards the Krugs and do a more efficient clear by having the stun always available. That red buff for health regeneration, though, could also indicate that he wants to just hang around and gank, but we'll see how he plays it out, because he's going from buff to buff right now.
Yeah, very different to what he brought in, yeah. So, Winter's Bite goes wide. 5 looking for a death sentence. Doesn't find it onto Martin, who doesn't juke. 5 not going to be able to pick it.
Yeah, he's going mid. Remember that Lissandra has a lot of lockdown with just that W. The claw to close distances as well. And Icon does have cleanse, so it's not an easy thing to gank. But between SofM's damage and Lissandra, they're just going to say hi.
He just clops his way past. Tank actually taking a fair bit of damage there. It does have the wave pushing back in his favor. See whether it will be safe. Is Juejue going to take this Rift Scuttler in full vision of Snake? SofM going to do the same thing.
Yeah, so I guess the immediate reactionary decision from xiyang was that he can't stay in that top lane anyway. So recall, get a second Doran's, have some more lane pressure, and don't risk dying to SofM without any wards in his back pocket. So clever stuff, but he wasn't looking for that. He was actually just looking to farm, and Graves being on the opposite side of the map is another indicator of this.
And you can see SofM knew exactly where Graves was, knew that he could take down this wolf camp, and the Hawk shot has spotted it out. Yeah, red buff just wearing off, probably at the wrong time here, as the Gromp is what the horse wants. Juejue going to do the same thing on the bottom side. This tank takes a Thunderlord's proc from Icon.
Doing well, Icon.
Yeah, very aggressive here in this lane.
course, Tank wanting to hit the Catalyst so that he can continue to effectively trade. May go Abyssal Scepter again. See which item build he actually has a preference towards. Azir's damage is generally attack speed reliant, a little bit lacking, and you can afford to trade with him with a Catalyst though. Negatron into it would make sense.
We'll see where he does decide to go. Might have been a snowballed Abyssal Scepter.
Yeah.
Wanting the extra penetration early.
Well, yeah, it was the MR reduction I think that he had it for. This time around, SofM does still do magic damage for what it's worth, but
hey, true.
Not a crazy amount.
You can see Frandre now shoving this wave all the way up to this turret and seeing whether he can deny xiyang what he can underneath. As the pings go down, Hawkshot I don't believe saw juejue, but he's not helping his tree on the top side of the map.
Yeah, and Frandre, one of the few times that we're going to see this often from him in these splits now, is actually a standard lane.
Yeah.
Gives him an opportunity to really prosper. That's been one of his strengths that he's never had an opportunity to utilize. Because SofM so invade heavy, they might actually prefer standard lanes so that they can afford to collapse. It's pretty cool to see Frandre shine though.
Yeah, exactly. xiyang actually getting a lot of damage back onto him here. Does have the item advantage as he puts his back to the wall, meaning that that weak spot not going to be opted for. juejue going to spot SofM, end of the line, doing a lot of damage as now SofM actually wants this fight. Yeah, does get the level 5 and then just canters his way out. He's running damn fast.
That's a gallop. It was the canter.
As Icon's going in, but Tank throws down the ultimate. Emperor's Divide's not enough damage. And SofM says, yeah, well, I was in the area. May as well pick up a kill.
Yeah, since you're fighting, I may as well come mid lane and say hello. Icon had flash, but it didn't opt into using it. SofM actually juked the Emperor's Divide, so I do hope we see that one again. A slight little movement to the left as these two are hitting each other again.
One more time. SofM just very angry as he launches on top. The flash comes out. There's no flash for SofM as he's still looking for it. Doesn't get hit by the turret. And OMG are collapsing on the horse.
He needs to run through the turrets and hope he doesn't die to it.
Well, Deadly Flourish comes in. Icon picks up the kill on the way past.
And another on the way past kill to be seen, this time for OMG's mid laner.
Double drive-by.
He can't use that money to buy. So he's on the way to lane, which means it's not going to actually amount to anything besides a bit of experience. However, he doesn't have cleanse in this middle lane anymore, so Tank could be feeling a little bit better about himself. And he has the capabilities of trading.
Or the capabilities of bursting the Azir one more time when that Frozen Tomb does come back up. See what Snake do want to do.
Well, you probably see SofM get his red buff and 6 and then come back mid, honestly, knowing that the cleanse isn't there. The flash is, though. And one of the more annoying interactions that a Hecarim has with everybody is that if you flash when the Hecarim charges you, you don't take as much damage, firstly.
Yep.
And it knocks you towards the direction that you flashed. Just get out of jail free card. Hecarim actually helps you to safety.
Oh my god, SofM has a Phage already.
That is this guy. Like,
yeah.
Most people, it's like, yeah, they get the challenging smite, maybe the tracker's knife or the chilling smite. Depends what you want. And then you go your Cinder Hulk build, and then you look for maybe the Phage. He is just accelerating this game. He's got the Rage passive with the Phage, which is nice. It is a trading spell. You can be sticky with it, which is one of the better purposes of it, whereas the Sheen Rush is for damage. And the added health might help him out a bit. I'm just trying to justify what is just aggression.
Damn right. Now he's looking for an Onslaught of Shadows gank here over the wall. Wolf Spirit, yeah, spots him out immediately.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, still looking for it. Does get onto Icon as the Emperor's Divide flies out. You can see he just launches himself over the top as SofM's going to die to the turret. Collateral damage comes through. And xiyang, in fact, teleported in to protect his mid laner.
That was too much from SofM. He should have just ulted out to safety. Once again, we say live and die by their jungler. In his current state, in the way that he's thinking and playing the map, he just wants to kill people. OMG are responding to this effectively. Their Graves item build, genuinely designed to do that.
Yeah, has those Berserker's Graves already as this blue buff. Getting taken down low.
Collapse here.
Yeah, really scary as Tank does make his way in. Nice double as Tank. Really great positioning. One more auto attack onto 5 is going to get it as there's the flash over from Jiezou, but he's very low and Icon is going to make his way through. Martin in trouble as OMG take down the kill. Curtain Call flies in at the same time as Jiezou tanking up all of it. SofM makes his way in. And the last bullet is not going to find the target. Nice pick off from OMG though, and it's 3-1 and a gold lead for OMG.
Yeah, still looking good. If Tank had his ultimate, things would be entirely different, but he didn't. And Icon gets the collapse and comes from the back end and ends up with his team. This 4-man strong unit of OMG are doing things quite cohesively and are setting themselves up a lot better in game number 2. As Snake are now being overzealous and far too aggressive consistently.
Yeah, they might need to just cool their jets just a little bit. There's a red buff going to be taken here from SofM. Frandre, continuing to push here towards the top side. Does have a little bit of an advantage, given the fact that his teleport is available, and xiyang's is not. We'll see what this Fiora can get done as this game moves on, because they still have a win condition, and if Frandre is big, that is definitely helping. Cloud Drake is Drake number 1, which is why we haven't seen anyone really focusing around that area at the moment.
Yeah, luxury dragon. And the luxury is that you get another one afterwards.
Yeah. The gateway dragon.
Yeah, the poor Hufflepuff Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Never respected.
No. Well, Martin, full vision now as the captive audience spots him. This wave being held onto from OMG.
Yeah, well, they're doing well. Away. This is the exact bottom lane. We said it during drafting phase that was banned from OMG.
Yeah.
Yet they gave it to them in this second game. Doing quite well and actually holding the wave. Boots rushes across the board from this OMG roster. But a lot of lane focus here from Snake with warding. That's a lot of pings.
Yeah. Tank was out of vision. As there's the captive audience. The ultimate flies through. 5 in trouble and gets launched back into Snake. SofM's going to easily be able to grab that kill. We'll see where he transitions to next, but that was pretty swift.
I think it was the challenging smite that actually locked that one down. I would have preferred it on Martin, but because he's got a snowballing build, this Hecarim, it makes sense that he'll have it. As they're still looking at S1mLz Jhin, he can't push his luck. There's no graves nearby.
It seems like they want to deny all of the creeps under this turret as well. Make sure that they can give Martin a little bit of breathing room. Jiezou moving towards the top side now. You can see that mini wave did die. And Ashe able to get right back in. Another deadly flourish lands onto SofM. We'll see whether he goes towards the dragon.
Yeah, he's just hanging out, you know?
Yeah.
Jhin didn't really need to go back. I guess he could have for mana to keep himself well and truly in this lane, but now he's just going to push out and probably recall himself. Coincide that timing to an extent with Martin on the Ashe. Yeah, he's going to ult the wave for clear. Of course, the crit destroys waves. The first 3 feel very lackluster up until it, though.
Yeah, that did a lot of damage. Juejue actually waiting for SofM here in the jungle. Icon going to pay a visit as well, as there's a lot of vision on this top side. You can see Frandre wants to clear out some of it. Does have a Tiamat completed, as well as that those boots of swiftness.
SofM's build, to me, says I am not ganking until I have my Jhin. He just bought a mana crystal. He's actually rushing Trinity Force. Aggressive man with the dueling item that wants to assassinate people. He's going to have a hard time doing that against the Azir. He is fighting a Graves, however, in the jungle, so if they meet each other, you might actually look at the Hecarim and say, could do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely could do it. They've also got the Ashe to set them up, so his attention may shift. And Snake, whilst they're on a ward, are still looking for things more actively now.
Still being aggressive. As SofM sees the ward before it kills itself. SofM once again back in the mid lane. You can see Pink Ward spots out Tank. Moving top.
You know, one of the better things that I like about this team is Frandre going for the Black Cleaver. Makes Ashe's damage quite higher.
And Hecarim.
Quite a bit higher, yeah, and Hecarim quite a bit higher in that respect. So they could even look towards ganking that top lane when the Black Cleaver's done. Doesn't matter how much armor is actually being stacked by xiyang at that point. However, I will say the Maokai will be an issue as the game progresses.
Yeah.
Due to the amount of armor that he should be able to stack. This is pretty much a Sunfire Frozen Heart game for him.
Not to mention the fact that You know, his Vengeful Maelstrom does deny just a lot of damage in general. Almost regardless of what form it's in. As the Death Sentence lands onto Jiezou, he flashes out. As now juejue is going to make his way in. The ultimate comes through. The first dodge comes in, but S1mLz nails the second one. Now easily able to lock down the support here for OMG.
Yeah, they get the pick once again. OMG's Thresh is putting in work as these guys are looking for a dive.
Yeah, the teleport comes down. Onslaught of Shadows is going to get on the right side of xiyang, but he uses him as a way to get out with the Twisted Advance. Snake now clear out the minion wave very quickly, give away their blue buff to juejue.
And that's their advanced play to try and get the turret and snowball Frandre. So they've got to kill bottom. Martin is now 0-1-1, but it's not going to amount to enough as he's stuck on damage control duty. Actually, whoa. Wow.
Yeah, arrow underneath the turret here as Tank is going to find juejue as well. Nice collapse play from Snake.
Yeah, very well done. They didn't actually continue that push on the top side. They got Tank to rotate mid. Hecarim still jungling, and Frandre still controlling and zoning away the Maokai. The presence that they're starting to put elsewhere on this map is amounting to a great detail here from Snake, except that they are still losing that bottom lane quite severely.
Yeah, losing the turret there as well, so the global advantage now in favor of OMG. Martin going to head top, see whether he can help out as xiyang. Twisted Advance himself on top of SofM, who's not exactly the tanky Hecarim that he's looking for, who tanks up the turret and takes a lot of damage.
Yeah, he definitely just isn't doing enough damage right now. He needs to go get his Sheen or something. I hate seeing people with a mana crystal.
Yeah, apart from Ryze. That one's tolerable.
Yeah, well, that one's expected. You start with it more often than not. Same with Gangplank. I will say that's the only other one. You can start with a mana crystal and rush Sheen. Other than that, it's not okay.
SofM struggling with the Krugs here, but does manage to take it with a Rampage. Smite going to help him here against this red buff. Spirit of Dread will be available as well, as now OMG going to bite the bullet and take this first dragon of the game at 16 minutes.
Someone's gotta.
Yeah.
There won't be a lot of Drake seen in this game, though, given that this is the first one taken this late.
Oh, Infernal is going to be the next dragon as well.
Now they've swapped back onto the top side. It will be matched by Snake, but they are looking to start breaking these structures here, OMG.
Martin with sort of a bevy of items right now. Going for the Essence Reaver build this time around. No snowballed Infinity Edge. There's 5 looking for a possible hook from the brush. Nice. Deadly Flourish comes out onto Jiezou. He's relatively tanky now.
Yeah, that Unbreakable makes a tank out of everybody. SofM has his items. And now he's looking at the Ashe Arrow lane once more.
Frandre actually ultimate out of xiyang. As juejue is going to make his way in. Nice speed up. Comes down as Frandre locks himself down a weak spot. It does make his way out.
Yeah, resets the Q cooldown by hitting the Graves. It may have put him next to a red buff and forced a flash, but it's better safe than sorry. Even though xiyang did not have the flash of his own to secure him with the Maokai.
Well, Claw coming in from tank. He's looking for Icon as SofM going to finish off that ward.
And still pressuring on staying on the top side of the map. They knew Graves was bottom. They saw him try and kill Frandre. It means they have a window to work towards these turrets, get these structures down, maybe get some gold in their back pockets again, Snake. The difference between these teams is quite marginal at the moment.
Yeah.
Mostly going to be in the back pocket of S1mLz.
Yeah, juejue as well. Has been a part of every kill on this map so far. His Graves was brilliant in his set against EDG.
And for what it's worth, Icon actually playing Azir is always a standout performer.
Yeah. Makes or breaks games, and he's differing the item build here a lot.
Yeah, he is, I think, one of the only Azirs that I've seen do this. He's done it more than once now. Nomicon. Berserker Greaves is actually quite an efficient attack speed item for him. I'm going to take a stab and say that his runes are very attack speed heavy also to compensate for what his item build is going to be here. But he is the only Azir that I can recall having this build ever. A lot more AP to be seen from him.
Well, Arrow going to fly through onto 5 here as now juejue finds Martin. Has to flash out of the way as SofM right on top of S1mLz. Not going to be able to take the Lantern as he throws out the ultimate. S1mLz kiting very well, though, as now Tank is going to make his way through. Juejue is going to fall. Nice heal comes out as Icon does head over. We'll see what he can actually find as it's a brilliant hook out onto tank as now Icon. So much
He has
AoE
the
damage.
ulti here.
Flashes onto Frandre. Double kill comes in as the Deadly Flourish locks it down. And OMG go 1 for 3.
Yeah,
1
and
for 2.
Icon did not even pull the trigger on that Azir ultimate. He has the capabilities to do more. And Snake, they start the fight off, but Juejue was already there to do the damage. And it's completely turned around by OMG. Very impressive stuff. The 19-minute mark in this game.
Yeah, and pressure owned here from OMG as well. As you can see, it's Juejue that does the most damage. 3.5k, ridiculous from the Graves.
Yeah, SofM didn't even get S1mLz.
Yeah.
That was his one purpose with the Trinity Force item build that he's rushing. Is to have that damage, have that assassination threat. He did a fair chunk of S1mLz's health bar, but for a long-ranged AD carry, always relevant. Because you can just sit back and throw the Ws, lock people down, let the Azir go off.
Well, right now it's a bit of a problem here for Snake.
He is 2k ahead of Martin.
My God. Has his Duskblade of Drakthar as well.
And this may well be the tipping point that OMG need to continue to snowball this game out. Big item spikes, something that Snake don't entirely have in their back pockets. Yet Frandre still stands strong and could be the saving grace of Snake.
You know, they need him right now as Snake are going to be able to grab themselves a turret. Get themselves back in touching distance with that 2k gold lead. As SofM has a giggle as he goes home.
A maniacal giggle.
Yeah. And OMG pushing up with a lot of members here in the mid lane. Arrow flies through. We'll follow it. See whether it lands. It is going to find 5 as Tank snares him up one more time. Gets it with the ultimate. Nice pick. There's now Frandre.
They're looking
launching
for
himself
this.
around it. Yeah, SofM coming through the back end. Does have the ultimate. Gets S1mLz on the wrong side.
God.
As the Emperor's Divide is going to throw SofM back. Now Snake, the rest of them collapsing on top. S1mLz getting Frandre'd on the back end of the fight. As the double kill comes in. Juejue tagged by Martin. And Snake just turned it all around again.
And here's Frandre joins the fight. Xiyang cannot do that because he's sitting on the top side without a teleport. And on the back of an Ashe arrow, setting Tank up for a pick. Frandre being there to kick the fight off. They get themselves well and truly back into a driver's seat position. They're not near that podium, however, yet, because the difference in these teams is non-existent after that fight even breaking out.
Yeah, 300 gold. This will change it as the outer turret falls on the top side of the map. Bottom side will also get challenged here a lot from Snake as Frandre has a lot of damage, especially with that Black Cleaver now completed. Ravenous Hydra only a couple of items away.
He is overstaying.
Yeah, he has to be very careful as xiyang. Yeah, no, he wants the minions. So Frandre going to be okay for now.
That was about 300 of minions. I'll pay it.
Yeah.
For what it's worth. Yeah, it does get the turret and absolutely pushing his limits and luck in a situation like that. But of course, winning that team fight, he had the window, used that window of opportunity. S1mLz's Duskblade even got him a kill in that last fight, by the way, in the tank.
That's super cool.
The Drake's kicked off.
Yeah, well, we'll see whether Snake can actually make their way back down here. The arrow is available, but the Infernal Drake getting taken immediately. And OMG are going to lock that one down. Another Cloud Drake to follow. That will actually be getting towards no more Drakes after that.
Yeah, so there's only going to be basically a 3 Drake game, maybe 4.
Yeah, 3 maybe 4. Not going to do the maths right now. Just not those guys. I think it actually, if they kill it immediately as soon as it spawns, we'll get another one.
Kill it as it spawns, you'll get one more bit. We'll see what happens anyway.
SofM going to steal away a blue buff.
Finally has his Cinder Hulk.
Yeah. Thankfully, the jungle items here.
Which means he's a tank. Before he was not. He was actually quite fragile, going that Trinity Force only build.
And OMG actually able to take this in a turret very aggressively. Arrow, not going to be used, as Martin was moving from the top side of the map. You can see Frandre heading back to base now. I was thinking about it, actually. Cancels the recall as SofM back into the enemy jungle one more time as everyone's collapsing from OMG. SofM does need to be careful.
We'll look through his blue buff, honestly, and he knows it's gone. SofM's definitely overstaying, but he's trying to keep Martin alive. In fact, he may even do something cute here and expect to find a split pusher to deal with Martin. We'll see who actually goes there, because at the moment it's Icon and Juejue.
The Grump is going to be started here as SofM is going to canter towards him. Doesn't manage to steal the Grump. Just going to time that one out. Snake do have still a heck of a lot of teamfight options here as well, especially if Frandre makes their way in. The Grand Challenge is just so good at keeping people alive with so much of OMG's damage being front-loaded in S1mLz and juejue.
They do have plenty of team fighting options. I think it's a little bit flank reliant once again though. Remember, Hecarim needs to get into that backline. Frandre needs to be doing damage to the backline. Tank is kind of the only variable tool in this if he wants to peel for Martin or do damage for himself, get onto the backline or peel for himself. The availability of a Lissandra is endless.
Yeah.
Whereas on the flip side, they need Maokai. The last team fight that they lost, they didn't have their tank. He is well and truly a tank at the moment with his 2 completed items also.
Yeah.
But really, that was an exploited situation where they worked around him not being available. And they get the flank from SofM, and that's exactly how it breaks down.
Well, Scrying Orb is going to spot the bottom lane of Snake moving here towards the top side, picking up this big mini wave that S1mLz did just shove into them.
Also really good flank ward here and behind Snake in this top lane. They'll never expect it to be there. I mean, very rarely would somebody check that. As well as the bush further up in that exact lane on the top side. I think that's a Scrying Orb, but it's going to stay there for a long time.
Oh, blue buff actually being stolen away here. Icon does end up getting one as SofM walks over a ward. So many pings here towards the top side as the Maokai spotted out by the Fiora. SofM just looking to try and take down a turret if he can. Martin's going to be here as well. They do have a minion wave. We'll see how much damage they can actually get down.
Hawkshot's so handy in situations like this. They can push their luck. Big teleport flank, though.
Yeah, Jiezou is able to tag up xiyang for now as Martin is going to get singled out. Nice arcane smash gets him at the right direction as Tank's going to make his way in. xiyang is the complete focus. Takes a lantern, gets himself out. As you can see, the arrow connects onto juejue. That is huge as Frandre is looking for it. SofM's ultimate doesn't do too much as Martin takes down the tank. But look at this AoE from the Lissandra. 5 now having to flash away. Massive damage. And Tank picks up another one. Frandre's huge. That's an ace. And Snake may just go to Baron.
Tank and Frandre just did so much work in that fight. It kicks off through OMG getting the flank teleport, but he was way too early, xiyang. There was no follow-up to that, and he just got himself half-healthed for the sake of it. And yes, it started the fight off, but it gave the perfect opportunity to re-engage. And to be honest with you, I'm pretty sure somebody flashed with Tank's ultimate on them, and it hit 4 people because of the flash.
Oh, God. That might have been it. But, of course, Frandre as well, dashing around this fight with his 3 completed items, was just unkillable and did so much damage.
Yeah, they can't take Frandre out when they're focusing other members. And the way that SofM is playing these fights, you'll see him constantly like threatening the backline, forcing the Azir ultimate, and Frandre then has time to work. You can see, look at xiyang's health before this actually even kicks off. Martin just sits at the back and throws the arrow to re-engage. This is where things start to unfold. Frandre, the picture-perfect taunt, as watch Tank's ultimate here.
Oh my
I believe
God.
Icon actually flashed and caused that to happen. And then Frandre hits 1 Q, he hits a million Qs. Very sticky target. That was a team fight that was just executed quite well from Snake as a whole.
Yeah, and Martin as well doing so much AoE damage as here. xiyang once again caught out. Grand Challenge comes in as Frandre says, yep, we'll take the heal and we'll take the kill.
Very easy kill. That's the Black Cleaver strength that we've been waiting for as well. The damage that xiyang can absorb is not that great, to be perfectly honest with you, when Frandre, who is 6-1 and 5 now, is hitting you.
He's almost got his Bloodthirster completed as well. The full split push Fiora, who just seems to be able to make it work in teamfights. If there's anyone that can make split pushing champions with maximum damage work in teamfights, it's Frandre. That has always been his thing.
And let's just credit that they got him standard lanes. He won his standard lanes, found a farm advantage, and suddenly snowballs the rest of the game with his team.
Yeah.
Because yes, he can make these champions work, but his team Snake actually let him do that now by not lane swapping for once.
And Martin has a GA as his 3rd item. He knows that all he needs to do is sit back, tag people with his slow, get an arrow at the right time.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get exploded.
He's a cooldown reduction build. He's gone for the Essence Reaver. They've got SofM with the Trinity Force. They've got a top laner that builds AD. This feels like it's the recipe of Snake at the moment.
Yeah.
Is everybody do damage. If they're focusing the weak link, that guy builds a GA.
Yeah. And we'll pick a carry as we get to past the mid game.
It's also a Lissandra that's hard to kill in its own right. SofM's actually dead.
Yeah, a lot of trouble as the Duskblade helps out taking that kill down. Good pick against the Tide here for OMG. They are still 9,000 gold behind.
The rise and fall of Snake's jungler. We can sit there and talk him up all we want, but he's definitely still showing weaknesses throughout all of his competitive games. Aggressive to a fault is finally a Drake that isn't OMG's.
Yeah, it is going to go down in favor of Snake. The next one is going to be that Elder Drake. Definitely more benefit for OMG, as Snake just going to be running a bit quicker. But Bloodthirster completed here for Frandre.
Hey, the best Drake buff for a Hecarim.
Oh god, yeah, that's true. At least for his first dash in.
It's not actually the best, but it's pretty nice to have.
Yeah.
You know, Hecarim and move speed, they go hand in hand.
The best champion for a Cloud Drake, you could say.
Yeah, it wouldn't be far off. Can't think of one that would be better.
Yeah. As Frandre is going to find xiyang one more time. Look at this damage out of the Fiora. Manages to proc his grand challenges. xiyang not going to be able to do anything. It's just all too easy.
And it's a Bloodthirster build as well. So this is basically the Trundle from game number 1 all over again.
It looks worse.
It is worse because he's snowballed. He's 7-1-5 and has accelerated item builds. He is close to 100 CS ahead of xiyang right now on this Maokai.
Oh, Arrow is going to find juejue in the back line, but not the target that they were looking for. As Martin caught out of position. GA, though. Don't worry about it. Not going to be dying just yet, but a lot of poke damage comes out from Icon. juejue as well. End of the line. Stops Tank from heading back in.
So OMG have a lot of strengths at higher ranges than that of Snake. And the battle really happens on two fronts. It's can OMG keep range and maintain damage through that range advantage, or can Snake close the gap, get on top of them with their Fiora, Lissandra, Hecarim, and take them down. So far we've seen it go in both directions. The last fight was quite handily, however, in Snake's favor. And talk about gold acceleration.
Yeah, exactly. It's exploded. Summoner's Rift right now. OMG have clawed it back just a little bit, now down to 8k, but down to 8k is definitely when you're talking about silver linings as opposed to actual benefits, because this cloud is still big hanging over OMG.
Got him.
That grenade.
Oh, double got him.
Yeah. Big old damage. Didn't actually proc the Duskblade though. Still has to auto-attack to get that one down, so will still have the 2-minute cooldown.
It's the important part of his kit, right? Nah, it's the ultimate at the moment. He's got the armor penetration build, even gone for a Last Whisper third. It's all about spell weaving now for this Jhin. And all about utilizing Icon's presence. Hitting the backline targets and doing a lot of damage, then locking them down with Jin's W. Because at the moment, OMG are holding strong. They're finding a difficult Snake to break what is currently decent ward coverage and really good setup from OMG to turtle in as effectively as they can.
Yeah, Frandre now with the QSS completed just doesn't want to get locked down by a death sentence out of 5 or anything like that. Wants to make sure he can continue putting the hurt onto xiyang, who just can't go near a minion wave outside his base at all.
Yeah.
The defensive vision is actually really good from OMG on the bottom side though.
They've set up a trinity of pink wards and they're extending that vision further. And because of that vision, they can actually get S1mLz a buff that he would like to have. You would think.
Oh, Frandre is still looking for it. The Grand Challenge flies through as Frandre is going to get exhausted and killed.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Got him.
As the arrow flies through, but there are 4 people there. You can see Snake, we're trying to make a play towards the top side, but too much wave clear from Icon. And that's a bit embarrassing.
And now Frandre is dead for an awful long time. This gives OMG an opportunity, a window to push towards the Baron buff and at least get themselves vision. He'll be up by the time it started, but more kills could be nice.
Yeah, Curtain Call does fly in as Jay-Z flashes out of the way. 5 looking for the hook, gets
Good
it.
hook.
Onto the Braum, and juejue is going to have enough damage. Icon delivered the kill, and that is 2 swift ones. And actually, Jay-Z not going to be up in time for the Baron.
Yeah, so they need to actually show some respect now, Snake. Place vision where applicable. I don't know if OMG can outright do it, however. They have a lot of damage to it with an Azir there. I think he is necessary to take it down quickly, but Graves to complement, Jhin to complement. It's just risky because you fight for an objective, you actually give Snake an opportunity to work their magic.
And where does Lissandra want to fight? Basically Baron Pit. Like that's
right now
that's
they
the
are
dream.
kicking it off as it spawns. This is going to come down to SofM or the perfect flank team fighters.
Well, Arrow is going to find Icon here. Deadly Flourish comes in. Nice hook onto SofM. Does still have the ultimate.
They've got
Will
him.
need to use it as S1mLz just picks up the kill. And now Tank looking to try and get in there. Massive ultimate comes in as Frandre is going to launch his way into the backline. The Baron taken from juejue, but he's not going to have anyone to use it as xiyang's going to fall down as well. Now Snake looking to try and take the game.
And we called it the Tank and Frandre show, and that's exactly how this one winds out to be. Martin's a walking arrow bot. He just flashed the wall to help, you know, slow people down because that's entirely his purpose right now.
Yep.
Looks like, based off that flash, they have enough time to end this game, however. And a convincing, essentially 3v5 is what gives Snake a victory.
And that is like the first time we've seen a let's just walk in one after the other and have it work. Because SofM goes in, dies, does a fair bit of damage, and actually clumps up the members of OMG. And then as the pins are sitting there, we get another one that goes in, which is Tank, locks everyone down, throws out his ultimate, and then the cleanup crew comes after that in the form of Frandre, who just launches his way around the Baron pit. That was ridiculous.
I think it's safe to say that we look at both of these games. Game number 2 in particular is basically a battle of you can have anything you want, we'll pick anything we want.
Yeah.
Let's see who does better in the end. And Snake, they execute with that Lissandra that should never be seen on Summoner's Rift again in Tank's hands. He is just too good on that champion.
And the fact that they priority picked it in game number 1 and then got it immediately in game number 2. Definite credit to Snake knowing their win conditions as Snake take a well-deserved bow